Hey everybody, this is PD from Spinnerack, and today I'm doing a video on, well, you saw what it was about, right? But you're not seeing the comics that I was talking about, right? So right here, I have some of the classics. This is the re-release as a bookshelf, prestige edition of Mad Love by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. We also have here one of the annuals they did with multiple talents. They had Mike Parabek, who passed away, but a great artist. DeCarlo Jansen Byrne, who offered up his services after seeing the Batman cartoon and said that the one of the best Batmans was the animated comic version and cartoon. Wagner and Burchett, who are all talents. And then we have here, they're working with Glenn Murakami. And yeah, this is some of the classic issues, but the whole series of Batman Adventures is pretty good. This really kind of cemented as Harley Quinn as one of the breakout characters of the cartoon, and she was one of those few that was such a great character that she well, I have a do I have I do have gotta take the dust off these guys, right? We have a Batman animated figure by Todd McFarlane, as he like to call Toddster, and we have the Harley Quinn one, right? And this one you can't even really see the seams, but it's posable, right? So since we have that here, taking these out. Sorry guys, but that's enough for your precursor. Oh, sorry, I do want to say that there are many other talents on the animated series that also, directors, other writers, producers that were involved, execs, even to even the ones who got helped and get it off the ground. But we're going to be dealing with Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, who, after doing Mad Love and a bunch of comic books, they always hinted that they wanted to do a Harley and Ivy comic, and it took a while, but in 2004, we got the comic. Now, there's a worry, since they're villains, do these guys really know comics? They're doing a Harley and Ivy. All it'll be was them kicking Batman's ass up and down the comic books. So we'll get to see if there's any of that, or they're pure comic book guys. But no, actually, let me just say, I did read this beforehand. I've had some issues trying to do this video, so this will be like the third time I tried. And the actual timing of the book goes really quick, right? This is pure comics. Now, you hear me talking about captions and such, and some of the greats, like my favorites, like Byrne and Miller and Perez and Walter Simonson and Alan Davis, they all kind of play with time and they slow things down. And Stan Lee, working with Kirby, kind of allowed you to stay on the double splash page. But this is classic comic books, not the comic books that were, he's not as explanatory as even the early comic books. But this is just comics that kind of move. Because the early ones really didn't have too much captions, but they did have captions, but it moved. But at the same time, they were very explanatory. This is going to move. Now, I've been 5 minutes in. Let's see how quickly this goes, right? You and Me Against the World. Right now, this is my last thing since I'm in the 4th minute. You'll see, I think in the 3rd season of the Harley Quinn show, there's a romantic relationship going on there even though it feels like it'd be for the community, it's merely for the guys that have been clamoring for this for a long time. But if you see the dynamic in this comic book, Harley is the thorn in Ivy's side. And you can see from the covers, there's some of that, but they're going to play up some of that aspect of that and some of the stuff for the fans that are kind of like the stuff you'd see in Betty versus Veronica type of stuff in Archie comics, right? So let's go. Bosom buddies, right? So they're breaking in, trying to get the zombie root, which she uses to control people's, get willing slaves. And at the same time, she's like, well, why don't you just use your kiss? She can't go, so I can't go around kissing everybody, right? So it's like, I didn't even think about it. I was talking about being explanatory dialogue. Ultimately, I didn't even notice it the first time, but it really, the timing of it and everything makes sense. And as they go in there, Botanical Society, they actually come in to see the root, right? And at the same time, realize that Harley had got the day wrong, right? Tomorrow is the day of the society party, right? So she uses her own thorns to stop this guy. And then they just break out and leave. And they say, none of these hoity-toities who's got the guts to follow us. We have one who's Batman, and Batman shows up kind of like a spy versus spy moment, right? And he cuts the cord, cuts the vine, and they're falling down. And they're like, don't drop the plant. And Batman comes in to stop them, right? So Batman's here. He's fighting against the brains, which is Ivy. Harley's trying to find the pop gun. Can't find it. And then she has something. She has the plant. So she uses it and tosses it at Batman. And they've stopped Batman, but Ivy is really upset, right? Ivy cannot believe he threw the plant. And look at that. They get captured in the time that they've been caught up in their own drama, right? So, of course, Harley, nothing sticks to Harley. She tries to get on Ivy's good side, but Ivy wants to kill her, right? We can see that. This is the dynamic we need to see in the cartoon. Not to see, hey, we're together because she's in a bad relationship with the Joker, right? She's in a bad relationship because she's a bad person too, right? So he keeps thinking of ways to kill the Harley, but then we have a shower scene, and you're saying, hey, look, they got in a shower scene, but they're in prison. They would take shower scenes together, and the fact that it's animated, you don't even though they get away with so much with the bubbles, and I think Brady and Veronica would have scenes like that, but only if you extract it. But as you look in the cartooniness, kind of tones it down, right? Where this would be a nude scene, that's it, but the titles are blocking. Everything is blocking stuff, so you just got to be, extra on that side or wanting to see stuff. They'll put it in there like that, right? And Ivy is trying to kill her, and she's had it. She doesn't want to see her ever again. Harley tries to make up. Ivy is not with it, right? So here we go. She's like, she starts to figure another plan, right? So she cuts her skin, puts the blood into the plant, and the plant starts growing. She's bleeding. The cop comes in there, then the vine helps her out. Harley thinks she's gonna break out with her, but Ivy's out without her, right? She uses her kiss to control this guy. Then she's slowly escaping, sidestepping the cops, but at the same time, these guys are under Ivy's spell. Harley can use it to get herself out, right? Oh, she kisses another guy under control, and now she's went to the sewer. And these brave cops are following her. And then they say, uh-oh, the moss. It's some sort of monster. And then off screen, we know they're not going to survive this. But in animated, you don't think that sort of stuff. In the animated style, right? So she's off. We almost got a romantic type of exit. And then here's Harley, right? And she can't stand her, but she feels sorry for her. And then she wants to keep the distance from her, right? So it's a bug out, right? So they have the next one, which is Jungle Fever, right? That was quick. Like 4 minutes, all right? See how this flows? Now, you know me, I talk about captions, that, dialogue, and such, defend that Stan Lee kind of style, even though the early comics had a lot of dialogue, especially EC, some of the top comics, right? So we have classic TV show, news report that's in a lot of stuff like, really done famous from American Flag, but then of course, who's the name? Dark Knight took it over. So we have this dynamic that's in this book too, right? So there, Castaverse talking about the rainforest. We have Juan Sabalos, and he's like all for the rainforest, but at the same time, some mercenaries are tearing it apart and killing people and torturing them. And in Casa Verde, we see our girls getting slapped around by the CEOs of this third world country with a rainforest. Right, and then Harley goes into action, starts putting the work on them. Then Ivy helps out, and she's threatening them with her own blood. Right, and they're almost about to, but they get the other CEOs get the drop on them and take them out. Right, so he's like, "Hey, wants to welcome them," and talks to them, and that's where Harley starts giving up the thread of, hey, the zombie route. And he hears it. He's like, what? He wants in on it. And he's going to tell her. And nope. Just pushes over to the kiss to be controlled by Ivy. Right? And then Harley shows what she can do. Hits them, takes the gun, kills these guys. Yep. And Ivy's impressed. Right? So then they use the control over Sabalos and to get a tank from them, right? They go into there, but they still have the mercenaries out there. And the mercenaries try to stop them by chopping up. This is Burn, and this is Slash, right? And they're ready to do something to them. They'll try to put Burn, but then they have put the fire on them, and then they can get around it, right? And they just drive through it, and they lift these guys. So while they're gone, we got some time to kill. Ivy connects with the plants, right? And this would be, I think, better than the the sex scene in the what's that thing, the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. But at the same time, we have Harley's not with it, right? And she says, "Oh, that felt so good, connecting with the plants. I got the rainforest, and Harley's out of it." And they said, "Cheer up." So see, they kind of playing up this stuff, but it's better to just keep them like, like co-workers, or friends, and stuff like that, sisters, into what they change it into, right? Right, but these mercenaries are still alive. We get the most action-packed stuff that we can get, right? And they charge them. They're going head to head with these guys, but these guys are formidable, right? And aren't playing around. They almost got Harley. She fights back and she stops Slash. Now Ivy's taking on Burn, right? And she's got the forest to help her, but he can burn down the forest. And he's kind of overtaking her. He's like cornering her, got her trapped. She throws mud at her, but at the same time, something happens, right? And what happened was this: each one had poisoned frog in it, and he's paralyzed. She kisses the frog and kills the frog, right? So now they're here, they're in control of Sabalos, so now they help out the rainforest, but Batman's worried about them coming back to town, right? So see, this is even quicker. This is like a 4-minute read, right? And this is I think 20 minutes is decent as far as writing and dialogue, but I can't go against this. This is the moves, the action, the storytelling is very clean and very quick. So you don't feel like you're missing out either, right? So we have Harley kicking Joker, right? And Batman not being very Batman, right? And then Ivy takes out Batman, and we find out he's saying Yoda, Dagobah system. This is obviously Mark Hamill, and they say hooray for Harleywood, right? They toss Batman and the Joker into the closet, right? And we see way back when they're hiding out, when they got back to the U.S. Harley is watching cartoons and eating sugar, and stuck watching Acromegaliacs, which is a play off of the Animaniacs, right? She tosses something at her, and she doesn't. It doesn't have no effect on her, right? So she's like, we have another titillating scene. They're going to the shower, right? And this is hilarious, but they need Harley to start picking up some slack while Ivy's trying to work on the root, right? And then they realize Excess Hollywood is doing a expose on doing a movie on they report about doing a movie on Harley and Ivy, and then she's gonna sue. She's not happy with who she's gonna be, and Ivy doesn't have a big deal until she's here who's playing her, right? So now they gotta go take them out. They're gonna use their potion for a trial run. And they go into a meeting, taking a meeting with the creators of the Batman TV show. And we have Bruce Timm, we have Paul Dini, and the other producers that I can't say by name, so I apologize to you guys. I don't know them by name, but I probably get them all wrong. So they talk about, hey, we had these underwater Harley, deep sea dive Harley, and you got rid of the underwater scenes. So kind of the fight that they would have where they'd have all these funky Batman action figures that they possibly want them to work into the show, right? And then we got Harley and Ivy, and they don't even know why these guys are in the room as extras or stunt girls, so they use the stuff on them. And they got them under control, right? But Ivy is like, hey, they can get hundreds of millions of dollars, $100 million for this. So they can siphon out the money, get all the money they need. But, and all they need is a director to be in sync with their cinematic vision, and then Harley's going to do it, right? So it's Alice Smithy, right? And Harley is the director, and she's just plotting the death of Batman. And then they change, what's the name? Add some more bells and whistles and rhinestones, and just killing Batman's up and down, right? Even Robin and Batgirl, and then drops a building on Batman. And he said, genius, sure genius. Right, so they have some of the workers massaging them, and they're saying they got enough money. But at the same time, she still wants to keep going. And Excess Hollywood is saying they need to look for some more auditions for more Batman, so many accidents, right? But Batman has kind of figured that these guys are probably behind it, right? And here we go. Look at that. She's checking out the guys. Look at Harley. She's totally checking them out, right? And then they have more than enough money, right? But she wants to finish the movie, right? And she says, please, please, please. And she agrees, Ivy agrees, but then she has this dream that she created a monster, right? And when she wakes up scared from the dream, she hears Harley snoring, punching her right in the face. Right? So they're together, and they're playing their own parts, but Ivy doesn't want a new costume. She wants her real costume. Harley has add some more bells and whistles and lights, so they're gonna kill this Batman. And the Burly Bat, the first appearance of the Whirly Bat in the animated world, which should be around more than this, right? So they come into Batman, they get rid of Batman. That Batman jumps, and they don't know it's the real one. And Harley doesn't want to shoot him because she's worried about the movie. And then Miss hits the whirly bat. And next thing you know, they're falling right into it. And Batman takes the ladies off the prison. But she's happy they got the shot. They see it. The movie's a piece of trash. But they're almost bankrupt. They had to put it out. They put it out and it's a total success, right? So she gets to get her Academy Award while she's escorted by prisoners, right? And then here we have we got Harley taking calls after the success of the movie, right? So this is almost better than the Dazzler the movie or the Chris Claremont spoof on Dazzler the movie and X-Men, right? So she's on the call with her agent, and she gets another call, Steven Spielberg. He said, "Hey, thanks for the brisket, Bubby." All right, and Ivy can't take it, so they're gonna redo the Poseidon Adventure, right? But turn it into a love story, and then Ivy breaks out, right? So there we go. 3 issues plowed through way quicker than most of my videos. But yeah, this is the classic dynamic of them being Harley being someone that kind of screws things up for Ivy, but they kind of still work together because this show business, guys. But anyway, check this out for yourself and then write into the animated people and say, hey, this dynamic is more fun. It's creatively bankrupt to play to the fans and just give them what they want and just saying, hey, these babes, here are the babes making out, and they got them in really crazy situations, but it's not really I don't know, it's just feels like it's pandering and not to the LGBT community, to the fans that been begging for this all this time, but it's just been like, yes. So it gave you some titillating stuff, but at the same time, you don't put Benny and Veronica into a romantic thing. Spin a rack out.